can give the opening remarks, Mr. Judge.
Yes. Thank you very much, Able Education Minister. May I confirm my audibility? And I'd like to apologize that I'm not in a position to turn on my camera. Yes. All right. So I'd like to say distinguished adjudicators from the YCDA. I believe Basiru and Co are here with us. Respected Ninth Executive Council of GAM-IN, the second Executive Council of the Confederation of Gambian Student Unions Associations Abroad, which is COXWA, various student leaders of the Gambian diaspora community, fascinated debaters, and a vibrant audience across the globe. Good evening from Asia, good afternoon from Africa and Europe, and of course, good morning to our American and Canadian viewers. So, gathering virtually tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we debate, but as well to interrogate identity, justice, and belonging. The Gam-Diaspora Debate Championship 2.0 continues to assert itself as a platform where ideas clash with purpose and arguments carry consequences beyond the virtual podium. So, an exciting session awaits. The question before us is quite simple, or would I say it's simple, yet profoundly consequential. Who earns the right to belong and on what terms? As we edge closer to the grand finale of this second edition, only the most persuasive, principled, and strategic minds will advance. Wonderful audience, today, Sunday, 25th January 2026, Malaysia, the proposition side, which is the government bench, and Turkey, the opposition side, lock horns on the motion. This House would grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian residents, descent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship crisis. I believe this is a timely motion. So this debate will solely feature a battle of ideas, a test of conviction, conviction, and a showcase of diaspora excellence. So the question remains: who will make it to the finals? Want to know? Well, stay tuned with us for the next couple of minutes. With that, I, Saja A.K. Jaju, the president of the Ninth Executive Council of the Association of Gambian Students in India, hereby declare the semi-final of the second edition of the Gam-Diaspora Debate Championship open and let the flow ignite. Thank you very much. Back to you, the Education Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Judge, for those wonderful remarks. So, without wasting more time, I'll just hand over the baton to our able adjudicators, Mr. Basiru Jallo. You can take over now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to another intellectual exercise, battle of ideas. Today, I'm here with Siaka. We are going to adjudicate this round. But before we move, I would like to make at least some notes. Okay. Give me just a minute. Let me just get this done. All right. What I would like to emphasize would be a brief statement on how our debaters are going to clash tonight. The motion is very sensitive, and let us always be careful with our deliberations and, of course, with our choice of words. It is not that like we are trying to restrict your freedom of expression or speech, but having understood that it is a very sensitive topic, we always try not to hurt other people, especially our fellow Ghanaians in our deliberations. We are the same people. We just need to debate based on facts. I'm sure you are aware of those things and have been demonstrating those practices since we started the debate. Today would be no exception for sure. And I know that you are going to do well in handling this kind of motions. We have statutes, we have laws that are guiding us in every aspect of identity, integration, and the likes. So if our analysis are driven from those things, still now we can make valid arguments. But when what we call common sense dictates, at some point our emotion go further than our thoughts. At some point you see people would go beyond the margin. But I would just want to emphasize that let us be respectful as much as possible, and let's see how best we join our national conversation in addressing this phenomena. Siaka, I think I need to say one or two things with Siaka, but I bet would not be more than 1 minute. I'll get back to you again, honorable audience. As soon as possible, we begin the debate, please. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now we move on. Tonight, we are debating emotion, which is very sensitive, and we're going towards a very tough combat with you, with the debaters, and with the audience. We are going to try by all means to give the audience the facts we know as far as this motion is concerned. This motion reads, this House would grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship crisis. But before we start debating, I would like to remind you a few ground rules. Number one, you are aware that each debater is given 7 minutes to deliver his or her submissions. And these 7 minutes, we have some segments that we need to respect. At some point, we call it POI. Now, the POI is been granted to you at some point when you are not speaking within the protected time. The protected time starts from 0. Immediately you assume the podium to deliver your speech to the first minute of your deliberation. That is your protected time. Meaning, at this part of your debate, or you are not, your opponent will not have the chance to give you what we call, so ask rather a question. And the reasoning behind this is that this time would allow you to establish your debate, to give the background of your debate. And I am sure that at the time of giving this background, nobody's going to ask you anything. Then from the 6 to the 7 minutes of your debate, there is also what we call a protected time, and you are all aware of that. Meaning at this point, nobody would ask you from the opposing side a question. And the reasoning behind this is to allow you to summarize your debate. When the 7 minutes elapse, we have what we call another 15 seconds, but sometimes we give you 20 seconds to wrap up. Why we added 5 seconds is to ensure that at the time of deliberation, if we have started the time later, then the 5 seconds would compensate what we have missed. And please, the other thing I would like to mention is that we have what we call the ad hominem fallacy. Let's try by all means to avoid that, meaning attacking the person's character instead of the ideas. So it has never been done here, but I still need to remind the debaters. And thirdly, we have what we call the POI, interjection from the opposing side, whenever you are trying to establish your speech or trying to give your debate or something like that. Someone from somewhere can ask you a question. And please, if you request a PY from a speaker and it's not been granted, just sit down and do not disrupt the speech or the house in general. Let us try by all means to absorb this into our debate and ensure that we formulate our questions within 15 seconds. Immediately you are given the chance, and do not eat up someone's time. It will be very unfair. And I will encourage also the debaters to take at least 2 POIs. It's very important in this debate. We penalize people for failing to take POIs deliberately. Please know that. The POI is you are trying to engage the house, and in the advent of what we call this media, one cannot just print out what we call a debate speech and come and give your submissions without engaging the people in the house, of course, who would have doubt in your deliberations and would like what you call clarification. Now, to avoid such scenarios, please accept POIs at least to engage the house. I think those are the few things that I needed to remind you. The method in which we adjudicate, I think, has been given to you, and a lot of you know exactly how it's been done. If Siaka, if you have anything to remind the debaters, please, you can start. Oh, I don't see Siaka right now. Siaka, if you are in, please. If you are in, please try and say something if you have anything to say. If not, I will welcome the debaters to start their deliberations. Okay. Now, back to our debaters, to our imaginary seats. I would ask the government bench to take their seats, and of course, the opposition from the other side. That's been done. I would like to emphasize something about the motion again. I like that. Now, the debate, as we speak, or today's motion, addresses what we call questions of belonging, as I mentioned, legality and social cohesion within the Gambian context. It asks whether granting. Am I audible or not? Okay.
So go ahead. You're audible. You're audible.
Okay. Okay. It asks whether granting permanent legal status to long-time Ghanaian residents is an appropriate and effective response to current crisis that we are witnessing. The debate raises important issues of national sovereignty, human rights. As I mentioned in the first place, that we have statutes, we have laws, we have charters that address this kind of identity that we are talking about, integrations and state responsibility. As judges, as we always say, we will be looking at for clear definitions of affected group, realistic policy mechanisms. I love policy motions, and this has, I think, this has been or our modus operandi at some point to ensure that people talk about policy motions that would at least shape our national conversation with emerging issues or burning issues in our country. Now, a balanced engagement with both legal principles and social consequences. We look forward to a respectable submission coming from both sides and well-reasoned debate in tonight's debate. On that note, I would welcome the Prime Minister to give his or her submission. Now, the Prime Minister, the floor is yours.
May I confirm if I am audible, please?
Yes, you are audible.
All right, I will indicate when I'm done, then you can set the time. Sorry, just
okay.
Let me set my time too. Sorry. All right, I'm done. Set.
Okay, now give me a second. Let me- Okay. I just have a first page for the Prime Minister. Please give me some time.
Honorable Chair, respected judges, members of the House, my name is Usman Bari and I speak as the Prime Minister of the House.
Oh, it's Usman. Sorry, I'm sorry. Usman, can we please see your face if possible?
Oh, okay.
Okay, now Honorable Barry, what I want you to focus on at some point would be the screen, so that when I raise my hand, you will know when your protected time starts or ends. Is that okay with
All
you?
right. Sure,
Okay.
indeed.
Okay. Okay. You can start, please.
All right, I will indicate when I'm set for you to set the time, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm set, yes.
Okay, you can start.
Honorable Chair, respected judges, members of the House, my name is Usman Bari and I speak as the Prime Minister of the government bench. This House today is asked to decide whether permanent legal status should be granted to long-term Ghanaian decent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship crisis. We, the government bench, strongly support this motion. Before I proceed, let me first define the key terms of this motion. According to the International Organization for Migration, permanent legal status refers to secure and indefinite legal recognition by the state. According to the European Union Long-Term Residence Directive, long-term residents are individuals who have lived continuously in a country for an extended period and established lasting ties to it. According to the International Organization for Migration, Ghanaian descent residents refers to individuals of Ghanaian ancestry who have lived continuously in the Gambia for decades and consider it their only home. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, a citizenship crisis occurs when individuals who belong in practice are denied legal nationality, resulting in statelessness or excluding from basic rights. Our position is clear, honorable judges. Permanent legal status is necessary to resolve legal exclusion, prevent statelessness, and promote national stability. In supporting this motion, I will advance three key points to define the structure of my argument. My first point of contention would be the Constitution already provides a legal basis for permanent legal status through naturalization. Second, long-term Ghanaian descent residents make measurable economic contribution that warrant legal recognition. Yes, and my last point of contention would be granting permanent legal status aligns domestic law with international obligations to prevent statelessness. Honorable judges, to proceed with my detailed argument. My first point of contention is that the Constitution provides a legal path for permanent legal status. Honorable Chair, as the Prime Minister of the government bench, we strongly assert that this House must grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia. The opposition may try to argue that permanent legal status is unnecessary or illegal, that current laws already protect these residents. We reject that completely. According to Section 12 of the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia, allows anyone who has resided continuously in the Gambia for at least 15 years and is of good character to apply for a Gambian citizenship through naturalization. Yet, in Ghana town, established in 1960s, residents who were born and raised here remain undocumented and effectively stateless. According to the Point newspaper on 12 February 2025, out of 686 adults surveyed, only 53 held Gambian passport. A joint assessment by GCR and GAFNA and UNHCR on 8 December 2025 found that 87% have no documentation and 98.9% consider the Gambia their only home. This shows clearly that the constitutional pathway exists only on paper. It has failed in practice. By granting permanent legal status, this House enforces the Constitution, protects residents who have lived and contributed to Gambian society for decades and resolves a citizenship crisis the opposition would otherwise ignore. Any argument against this motion ignores the facts, defies the Constitution, and perpetuates statelessness and must be rejected, honorable judges. To proceed to my second point of contention, permanent legal status rewards economic contribution. Honorable Chair, a 2025 assessment by GCR and GAFNA found that residents operate over 150 small businesses. These are Ghana town residents. They operate over 150 small businesses, work in fishing, trade, and agriculture, and provide services in schools and health facilities. Yet, without legal recognition, they cannot access formal banking, loans, or business registration. According to the Standard Point newspaper, reports that support local, like these Ghanaian residents, support local markets and employ over 300 Gambians, sustaining livelihoods across communities, denying permanent legal status, blocks growth, limits economic participation, and weakens social cohesion. Honorable Chair, under Section 12 of the 1997, long-term residents of good character may be naturalized. Granting permanent legal status applies this principle, recognizing those who have contributed for decades but remain excluded. Any opposition claim that recognition is unnecessary ignores economic evidence and constitutional intent. This motion is practical, just, and essential, honorable Chair. So my last point of contention, honorable Chair. The situation in Ghana is a clear stateless crisis that this House cannot ignore. Granting legal status is essential to align the Gambia's laws with its international obligation and protect residents from statelessness. As we know, the Gambia is a dualist country according to the section 79, subsection 1, paragraph C of the 1997 Constitution, that Gambia is a dualist state. Any international law that has been ratified by the Gambian National Assembly must be binding by on our country, the Gambia. The Gambia is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, 1989. The African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, 1990, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, all guaranteeing the right to nationality. Yet, decades-long residents of Ghana town remain without Gambian or Ghanaian citizenship. A 2025 UNHCR assessment found that 87% of residents have no citizenship documents, while 98.9% consider the Gambia their only home. If this House fails to act, statelessness will continue to rise, denying children and adults access to education, healthcare, and formal employment, honorable judges. Evidence from Kenya shows that when formally stateless communities were granted nationality, they were able to fully participate in society and contribute to national development. This was reported by the UNHCR report 2024. By granting permanent legal status to these Ghanaians, so this long-standing people in Gambia, this House will implement Gambia's ratified international treaties, prevents further statelessness, and ensures these residents are legally recognized, protected, and able to contribute fully to our nation. Any opposition argument claiming that this is unnecessary ignores both law and human reality. Honorable judges, to summarize and conclude my point of contention, this House has shown that the citizenship crisis facing long-term Ghanaian descent residents is real and ongoing. While the Constitution provides a pathway to legal inclusion through naturalization, many eligible residents remain without permanent legal status. These residents contribute significantly to the Gambian economy, yet continue to face legal uncertainty. International laws ratified by the Gambia require action to prevent statelessness, and granting permanent legal status is the most effective response, Honorable Chair. This motion is not about creating new rights, but about applying existing legal principles to resolve a long-standing problem. Denying permanent legal status, prolongs exclusion and insecurity, granting it strengthens social cohesion and aligns the Gambia with both constitutional intent and international obligations. For these reasons, this House must support the motion. I was reserving some time for POI, but I believe my opposition has been convinced with what I said. Thank you, Honorable Judges.
Thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister, for that wonderful speech. We are set to hear from the opposition leader. So the opposition leader, the floor is yours.
Okay, I want to confirm if I'm being clear.
Yeah, you, of course.
Can I start?
Honorable Absolutely Jallo, can you please give me a couple of seconds to get back to you?
Okay.
All right, Honorable Opposition Leader, Honorable Absolutely Jallo, the floor is yours. You can start now, please.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Honorable Speaker, members of the government bench, members of the opposition bench, I rise in my capacity as the opposition prime minister, as the opposition leader. The motion states this House will grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship crisis. Mr. Speaker, before I go further, I would like to outline the structure of my debate. I will define the motion, give why we go against this motion, take one POI if possible, summarize and give my conclusion. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I would like to define the motion. The purpose of this debate, this House, the government of the Gambia acting as the immigration authorities, grants permanent legal rights status, which means formally allowing residents to live indefinitely in the Gambia with legal protection from deportation and access to basic services. Long-term residents are those who live continuously in the Gambia for decades. They do not just live in the country for 1-2 years. They have been living there for 15, 20 years, decades, often across multiple generations. Ghanaian descent residents refers to people whose ancestors migrated from present-day Ghana, meaning their eligibility is based on ethnicity rather than place of birth, because they were not Gambians. Their ancestors migrated from Ghana to Gambia. Okay, I would like to go further. Finally, the current citizenship crisis refers to the situation in which many residents of Ghanaian descent lack formal legal status, like the right to vote, and therefore excluded from essential rights and services, but they are not excluded from their fundamental human rights. Mr. Speaker, now I would like to give my points why we strongly go against this motion. We oppose this motion because granting permanent legal status based solely on ethnic descent will be discriminatory, practicable, and potentially destabilizing. Citizenship should not be based on ethnicity. It should be based on neutral, inclusive, and feasible criteria, not on ethnicity. While the injustice faced by Ghanaian descent residents are real, we are not denying they have been facing challenges. The proposed solution is the ill situation to the contents of the Gambia as a developing nation. As we all know, a developing nation with limited resources, administrative capacity. Instead, the states should pursue policies. They should do policies that address the statelessness for long-term residents fairly and sustainably, rather than going through this. I would like to give my first argument. My first argument states the policy is discriminatory and arbitrary. Granting permanent legal status only to Ghanaian descent residents will privilege a very small minority. Approximately, according to the statistic, 1,500 people, or about 0.05 of Gambian population, which is a very small minority. Other foreign residents, such as Senegalese, Guineans, make up about the percentage of 1.7% and 1.5% respectively, which is more than the Ghana population in the Gambia. Why should only them be granted this opportunity? Yet they will be excluded under this policy. The Senegalese and the Guineans will be excluded under this policy. By creating a special category for ethnic group, the government is fostering resentment, participation, unfairness, and social tension. Not accepted. History saw that ethnicity based on citizenship policy often backfire. For example, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, recognizing that Rwanda migrate based on ancestry led to political conflict and legal resolve. Therefore, the motion will be an unequal to approach this law.
POI.
If Ghanaian descent residents receive special legal status, how does the government justify excluding Senegal, Guinea, who have lived in the Gambia longer and in larger number? Mr. Speaker, I would like to give my second argument. Permanent legal status does not guarantee integration or rights. Even if Ghanaian descent residents were granted permanent legal status, this does not mean automatically confirm full citizenship or political participation, such as the right to vote. Even if they are granted this opportunity, this citizenship, they do not have the right to vote in the Gambia. Moreover, we know that immigrants already contribute economically through the remittance and social activity without needing special legal status. Therefore, granting status based solely on descent does not actually resolve the citizenship crisis. In fact, it will create a new category of residents who remain socially and politically marginalized, undermining the very goal of the motion claimed to achieve. It is not doing that. Even permanent legal status do not solve political exclusion if it does not grant voting rights to full citizenship. Mr. Speaker, I give my definition of the motion, give perfect reason why we go against the motion, and I would like to take a POI if possible. I will also like to give my conclusion. In conclusion, we do not deny that Ghana accepted.
You are on your protected time. However, since you've accepted me, I will still raise my question. What we are talking about is whether we should grant them a permanent legal status. If you look at the Constitution of the Gambia, Section 12 is saying that since, like, anyone who stays in the Gambia for about 15 years should be given citizenship based on some criterion. Are you advising the government to defy the Constitution of the Gambia, which is the supreme law of the Gambia?
No, I'm not saying the Gambia should not give them this thing. What I'm saying, don't use my words against me. What I'm saying is that why all the Ghanaians should be provided this opportunity. The motion talk about Ghanaian descent residents. It's not talking about other foreigners. I would like to continue. In conclusion, we do not deny Ghanaian descent residents face legal challenges and injustice. However, granting permanent legal status solely based on essentially is arbitrary result, inclusive and social destabilizing. The government should bring our inclusive, natural, feasible policies to address statelessness for long-term residents. For this reason, the Turkey strongly opposes this motion, since it has been done in other countries like Congo, and it have bring conflicts. And we know the Gambia is one of the countries in Africa that will fight for peace and stability. of Africa, which we want to continue. If we just provide this opportunity just for Ghanaians, what about Senegalese and Guineans, the other people living in the Gambia? What about them? Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Absatu Jallo from the opposing side, who is the opposition leader of tonight's motion. Now the House is set to hear from Deputy Prime Minister. Deputy Prime Minister, the floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Right, thank you.
Okay, just give me some seconds. Okay. That is the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Songo. If you are ready, please, you can start your deliberation.
All right. Okay, I will start now.
Okay, go ahead.
Honorable Chair, respected adjudicators, members of House, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wuye Sonko, and I rise as Deputy Prime Minister of the Government Bench to support the motion which states that this House should grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia to solve the current citizenship crisis. Mr. Speaker, before I engage the substances, I would like to give a clear structure of my debate. I will rebuild the claims of the opposition leader. I will strengthen the points made by the Prime Minister. I will also introduce additional arguments and present a clear and practical mechanism for implementation, and finally conclude by demonstrating why granting permanent legal status is both morally right and practically beneficial to the Gambia. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader failed to did not understand this topic. He is putting Senegal into this picture. The Senegalese have we haven't had anything, any crisis regarding the Senegalese in the Gambia. The crisis of Ghanaians is getting out of hands, and we need to address it. And he also mentioned that, he clearly mentioned that the Ghanaians are suffering. So why should we let people suffering? These are brothers, they are our African brothers. Mr. Speaker, Gambian citizens are also granted citizenship elsewhere. So why not we give them citizenships when they are residing in the Gambia since before the independence? Mr. Speaker, I will move on to the to strengthen the points of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's point shows that permanent legal status is necessary. Many long-term Ghanaian descent residents remains undocumented, Mr. Speaker, undocumented despite of constitutional provision, limiting their ability to access banking, register businesses, and fully contribute economically, as reported by Point 2025. Granting legal status recognizes their decades of contribution, preventing statelessness, and aligned with the international trade ties, such as UN Convention on the rights of the child, and also the African Charters on the rights and welfare of child, as reported by African Union Commission. Mr. Speaker, I will move on to my argument. My first argument is social cohesion and national identity. Mr. Speaker, granting permanent legal status fully integrate long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambian society, reducing marginalization and social tension. These residents have lived, studied in the Gambia, contribute locally for decades, considering the Gambians. They consider Gambian their only home. If we don't offer, if we don't grant them citizenship, so why are they going? Accepted.
Okay, so you said we are not putting Senegal or other nationalities in the pictures. We accept that, but you're also forgetting that the same constitution you guys stated still holds. So can you please open up that for us? If justice is for everyone,
what I'm putting, you don't understand the topic. I'm trying to explain to you. The opposition leader give example of Senegal. The Senegal have no crisis, a citizen crisis, because they are our neighbors. They have no citizen crisis in the Gambia. You never had that you never had a group of Senegalese were complaining of, or we are complaining about citizenship in the Gambia. You never had that. Please, if you had it, bring the source, a clear source. Thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, I will move on my second point: economic and human capital potential. Permanent legal status unlock residents' economic and human potential by allowing access to formal employment, business registration, banking, and social service. Ghana Town residents already run businesses, work in trades and agriculture. Mr. Speaker, I'll move on to um, my second part. Mr. Speaker, Gambians living in abroad or are often granted citizenship. For example, Mr. Speaker, according to Eurostat and 2019, about 4,000 Gambians became British citizens. 3,500 Gambians became US citizens. And also, when it comes to Europe, in Germany, 1,500 Gambians are acquire citizenship after their long stay. So why is it a problem that we shouldn't give citizenship to these people when they are there since before independence? Mr. Speaker, this is unfair, and we should also put human rights into consideration. Mr. Speaker, I will now present a clear and practical mechanism for implementation. Mr. Speaker, first of all, we will open a one-time civil registration window where residents will have a specific and limited period to officially register their details, making the process more organized and manageable. Mr. Speaker, we are also going to introduce the ECOWAS aligned biometric resident card, where registrants will also receive a modern ID card with a digital or fingerprint data, formally recognizing them and providing access to service. Mr. Speaker, we are also introducing due diligence security check. Applicants will undergo verification to ensure that they have good character and no criminal record. We also, Mr. Speaker, permanent non-renewable legal status. We are going to offer them permanent and non-renewable legal status by approving residents gain security, etc. Mr. Speaker, in this case, I would like to conclude my point. Citizenship crisis in Ghana Town is real, Mr. Speaker. It is urgent and solvable. Granting permanent legal status is lawful, practical, and precedent-backed. So we should give citizenship to these people. And Mr. Speaker, I have refuted the main claim of the opposition leader. I have strengthened the points of the Prime Minister. I introduced a new point. I also present a practical mechanism for implementation. Thank you so much. I rest my case.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, for the wonderful submission. Now we are set to hear from the Deputy Opposition Leader. So, Deputy Opposition Leader, the floor is yours.
Okay. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Jaratu Barry.
Well,
When you
sorry.
Hello, Honorable Jaratu.
Sorry, I have a call. I'm picking it just 1 minute. I'll be back. Del Gilman, Nedegre, Paray Ati. I'm really sorry for that. It was urgent.
Okay, it is admitted. Honorable Jaratu, when you are set, you can indicate to me that I start the time. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. I'm ready to start, please.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, members of the government bench, members of the opposition bench, I rise in my capacity as deputy opposition of this house on the topic which goes by this house permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship. And my structure would be like this. I'll defend the point of the my opposition leader, debunk some of the points that the ministers gave, and I'll give some of my point and conclude. To start with, the distance, the long term isn't defined in this situation. Long term can be less than 10 years, can be 15 or above, something like that. So let's say the Gambia Constitution, as the minister said, it's 15 years, and by then they should meet the criteria. That is criminal records and the criteria that is set by the government. And if, let's say, they do not meet that, so how do we expect to control every one of them and to give everybody to generalize something that has a constitutional state rule? So why not them going to, if they have stayed that long and they know that they don't have criminal records, why can't they go and apply for the citizenship in the at the necessary immigration places? From what my opposition minister said, she said that the percentage of foreigners, that is the Guineans and the Ghanaians, is almost the same. So why are we restricting it to one place when there is already a defined constitutional rule that can be followed? People, citizenship. And from what this one said, I'm have to make that. So I would like to give some of my point. So I will argue against this motion, providing historical, legal, social, political, and pragmatic perspective grounded in the documented facts about the situation in the Gambia. I also address humanitarian claims and show why granting automatic citizenship isn't necessarily the best sustainable solution. The proposition to grant permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia as a resolution to the citizenship crisis, while seemingly benevolent, carries significant complexes and potential drawbacks that necessitates a robust opposition. This approach, though, intends to address issues of statelessness and social integration that the government bench was emphasizing on. That's all they've been emphasizing on. We agree that it does that, but we also have to compare the countries that, as the Deputy Prime Minister said, he compared us to some of the countries. We have to check their economic stability, the crime rate, and all those stuff in comparison to the Gambia. Gambia is living underdeveloped countries, so you don't expect an underdeveloped country with setback resources to provide resources for people that do not go through the constitutional stated rule facilities. I think that is baseless. And if you go what he was saying about the percentages of other governments giving citizenship to Gambians abroad because they deserve it, it means they have been living rightfully and they went through the necessary processes. That is adhering by the constitutional rule of that nation. Why can't the Ghanaians do that if they have stayed for that long and they have to the government's to the constitutional stated rules? And we should go back to this. Giving somebody or a nationality, nationalism, a Gambian nationalism, means they have the right to vote. And that is one thing that citizens earn. And I can say today in the Gambia, if you look at it, why political leaders can go by and bribe people. Because if you look at the state, there are a lot of people that go through the back way, not the back way, like through the back door to gain citizenship. And when time for election comes, they're easy to bribe because there is no love for the country. There's no protection for the country, and they can hinder national security. They can leadership decision, they take a really crucial part. If you look at the Guineans today and some of the uh, other nationalities in the Gambia, we go back to 2019 election from Yahya Jammeh when he was giving voters card today, Casamas citizens. That is, those are the Senegalese. And how did it affect? And from what the TRRC came up with, that was the reason why Yahya Jammeh have been winning the election. So there is no love for it. And that leaves the doors open to anything to happen. Real citizenship should come from its people, because people love their country and people can die for their country. But you taking somebody that's not a real citizen, that has somewhere else to go, whatever happens in your own nation, they have somewhere to go at the end of the day. They cannot say that they didn't have a citizenship in Ghana because they didn't go for it. Because if their parents, both of their parents, where the Gambia constitution states that at least of the parents should be Gambian to be given a Gambian citizenship. So it means that both of the parents are foreigners. So it means they have a legal right to their own country citizenship. Firstly, granting blank permanent legal status could infringe upon the Gambian national sovereign and its inherent right to define its own citizens. Moreover, such a policy risks creating new forms of social and political instability, as I said before, within the Gambia. West African nations, including Ghana itself, have a complex history of indignity and citizenship rights, particularly concerning migrant populations, such as the Fulani herds. Those are the ones from Nigeria. The nation of indignity often plays a crucial role in determining belonging and access to resource, sometimes superseding legal citizenship. In practice, granting permanent status based solely on Ghanaian descent, even for long-term residents, could ignite resentment among other non-Gambian ethnic groups or even among certain Gambian communities who may perceive this as preferential treatment. This could lead to increased social friction, particularly in contexts where resources are scarce, where there are existing ethnic rivalries, undermining rather than enhancing social cohesion. Accepted, please. Accepted the PUI.
All right, you are on your protected time. You were not supposed to raise POI, but since you allowed us, I will raise my POI. If at all you are arguing that these people do not went under any necessary means to get their legal status, could you give us any data or statistics to support your argument that yes, these people have had criminal records or have not went through the criterion given by Section 12 of the 1990?
I'm not saying they have criminal records. If they have been complaining, have they applied through the legal way? Because the constitution is stated really well, and I believe that the Gambia is following the constitution. So if they are following the stated constitution that you guys put on the table today, that means after they've lived here for 15 years or more, and even the long term is undefined in the motion today. Undefined can be 10 years, and giving everybody is also so open to anybody that have lived here for 2 years. 2 years can be considered undefined, depending on everybody's perspective, depending on the situation you live in, depending on the hardship you live. So it's open. So continue. To continue. In conclusion, while the intent of resolve citizenship crisis and alleviate potential statelessness for long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia is commendable, granting them permanent legal status is a reductive solution. It risks undermining national sovereignty, creating new social and political division. Failing to address the system causes citizen ambiguities and potentially hindering the development of robust, internally driven immigration policies within the Gambia. A more sustainable approach will involve supporting the Gambia in developing its own comprehensive, inclusive, and transparent citizen framework that respects national sovereignty while adhering to international human rights standards for all its citizens. With this, I conclude. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Opposition Leader, for that wonderful submission. Now, this last submission has brought us to the final stage of the debate. Now, what we need to do is just to go on recess. But I would like to highlight the key things that I have learned from this motion as we just wrap up. This debate has shown us that revolving residency and citizenship-related crisis involves what we call more than legal status, if you look at it from the opposing side. It touches what we call on identity, fairness, social stability, and there are points we are looking at more of ethnic, what we call tensions, if these people are granted what we call citizenship. And the long-term vision of the state at some point coming from the government side. The teams have explored at least a clear tension between inclusion and regulation, as well as the potential benefits and risks of permanent legal recognition has been enumerated from the opposing side or by the opposing side. We commend the debaters for engaging us through a thoughtful and with complex issues for grounding their arguments in the Gambian realities. Of course, we have certain things to look at, but that would be after the recess. We will come and give context of the debate, look at the strength and weaknesses of both benches, announce the results, then wrap up for this weekend's round. We'll get back to you in a jiffy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basiru. Now we are going to open the floor to the general attendees to give their contributions on the table motion. So, yeah, Mr. Sadio A.K. Jaju and the comment section family, if you have anything to add, the floor is open. Sima, Amina, the floor is open. Usman Koran, others, you can come in, please. Malik Sise.
Yes, I have a contribution, please.
All right, Ba Usman, you can go ahead.
Okay, my opinion concerning granting permanent legal residence to the people at Ghana town, I believe those people deserve to be given permanent legal citizenship, but not everyone. Like those people that were born in Gambia, for example, like individuals that are living in Ghana town and are born in the Gambia, they deserve to be granted citizenship like any of us that are here. Because if you look at the constitution of the Gambia, it already spells out who can be a citizen. If you are born in the Gambia, if one of your parents is a Gambian and all that, and if you go to Ghana town, like most of them, uh, who are denied citizenship are actually born in the Gambia. In fact, they came to the Gambia like before. Some of them even came to the Gambia just after independence or so. So and they have some of them have never been to Ghana. Some of them have never been to Ghana, and I think based on that they deserve to be called Gambians, just like you and I. Like denying them citizenship is like denying them their fundamental human rights because as far as the constitution is concerned, that spells out who is a citizen and who is not a citizen. It's very important. And again, most of them are even denied to have scholarships. If they go to higher education to be granted scholarship, they are automatically denied. So and other opportunities that they deserve. So I think they should be granted. And even like beyond that, even if you look at how to call it, the tax also that they are paying, they are contributing to development of the country. Like they are paying tax. Some of them, like some of the parents there, or some of the businessmen are paying tax and all that. Like so the one of the debaters was talking about the issue of Senegalese and other nationals. These are some of these people are just they are migrants, like economic migrants. They come there to work and earn money. At the end of the day, they go back to their country and they whatever they earn in the Gambia, they export it back to their country in a form of remittance. So these people their condition with the condition of Ghanaians are quite different things. If you look at domestic laws and international legal frameworks, that's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Usman Kor, for those wonderful remarks. So I would like to say a very big thank you to our alumni as well for joining us in Grace in this debate championship. So Mr. Ibrahim Ambo, if you have anything to add, the floor is open. You can go. Oh, let's see, Maimuna Sane, can come in, please. Maimuna Sane.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. The name, I don't know. Get a city is here, not my Murasana. Get away. Am I
Hey,
audible?
Chutubai, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for how to call it. I don't know, non-executive council and the I don't know diaspora debate for bringing this to, concern into consideration about the debate. How to call it citizen? How to call it the Ghanaians in the Gambia? I don't know how the citizenship goes in the Gambia, but I think my contribution here is that those people decide the right of being a citizen. Because if you are from Budford, I think Asadujata and the what I don't know, TCO can tell. If you are from Budford, you know that those people. There is no mean that those people are not Gambians because anyone born in Budford, I think they will tell you that these people has been here for more than 50 years. I think the Ghanaian even that passed away in the Gambia, the first person Ghanaian to migrate to Gambia, he was buried in Brufut. So I don't know why they are discriminating them, why they are marginalizing them. Nobody can tell you that these people are not Gambian. Even to me, it was a surprise. I think I just how to call it some years back. I think last year is the time I came across Mary's how to call it Mary's press conference on the media. I don't know which platform. I forget the platform exactly. They were said how they treat them, how the police even chase them. And this thing is suddenly jumps into consideration when how to call it. I think the new government transition comes. So by all means that they should give them citizenship. That for that one they should give them citizenship. As the previous speaker said, I don't know whether Usman or what the other one. The ones that are born in Gambia are supposed to have it, and majority of them has been born in the Gambia. Majority of a lot of them have been born in the Gambia. I think even the other student who got 9 is in Gambia High is a Ghanaian. The other student, I don't know, now it's in UK. How do you call it? Even I forget the name. It was in Gambia High. So all those people, if you tell me that those people are not Gambians, it's even alarming. Even currently, we are listening to this debate with someone here who is also from Bufu. He told me that so that means that Ghanaians are not Gambians. Those people in Ghana towns are not Gambians. No, that is unfair. It's very unfair because if you look at even those how to call those people who come to Bagwe here, they have some of them have citizenship. Those who came here around 24, how to call it 2014. So most of them have citizenship now. Why in the Gambia? What it takes to be a hard citizenship. When it comes to criminal record, I don't think those people are even causing any problem to community of Bruford unless they are contributing, because most of them are fishermen. And that's the major hard work. They are major job selling gari, fishermen, kenkeng. That's the only thing I see. So I don't know. But thank you for bringing this to Nine Executive Council, Sajo Bai and Mustafa and the co. Thank you very much for this thing. And the I don't know, Mr. Bashiru, the host and the I don't know, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chutubai, for those wonderful remarks as well. Yeah, that's a very good one as well. Mr. Ibrahim Bo, the former president of Executive Council of the Association of Government Students in India, you are welcome, please. Mr. Mbo, you can go ahead.
Thank you, my boss. Hope Louis will not take trouble because he raised his hand before me. Louis?
No, His Excellency, go ahead. It's fine. After you, I'll comment.
All right. Thank you so very much. Yeah. And, I would say thanks to the executives and their partners, that is the YCDA, for coming up with such a great topic, that is, this citizenship issue, most especially when we talk about those people in Ghana town and other places. They have been in the Gambia. Some of them, their parents were born in the Gambia. Some of them, even their grandparents. But I believe there is something that we have to put in context here. That is, what is citizenship about in the Gambia? Like when you come to the Gambia, you have to know what determines whether you are going to be a citizenship or not. And ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And also, sometimes you will not bend the law just to please people or to do, what people think, is okay. No, you have to follow the law. So I believe the main issue of those in Ghana town or some of our Africans is that we don't know laws of country when we go to a country. And it's always good, the laws that govern a country when you are in a country for you to be able to have a decent livelihood and to claim whatever you want to claim in that country. So here, if you come to the Gambia, we don't have what we call citizenship by birth just like that. No, there is a condition attached to it. The condition is that one of your parents must be a Gambian. So therefore, as far as one of your parents, they are not Gambians, you cannot be a Gambian by birth. It's impossible. So here now, what happened is that when your parents came to the Gambia, or even their grandparents, when they came, if they did not attain citizenship, either by naturalization or any other means, if they don't have that citizenship, if they marry and even give birth to someone in the Gambia, that child is not a Gambian. If that child also live in the Gambia, either for 20 years, 50 years, and he did not naturalize or whatsoever, follow the procedures to become a Gambian, when he give birth to another person with another person who is not a Gambian, that child also not going to be a Gambian. So that's the issue we are having right now. So for me, my suggestion is that what we have to do is like to educate our fellow Africans that, look, you are in the country, and we have observed that your number is growing, and you have been giving back to people in this country, and everything they know is the Gambia. So what if you people need citizenship? These are the procedures to follow. That you have to pay maybe your like maybe like like non-citizenship alliance and all those stuff for this number of years. If you attend that, then you can apply for naturalization, then become a citizen. We have seen people that just travel to the Gambia within 10 years or less than that, they got their citizenship. Why? Because they follow the protocols. At times, corruption is involved. I agree. We all know how our country works. But we also also have to accept the fact that the law is there, and there is a way to claim for citizenship, or there is a way like there is a way to follow to be a citizenship of the Gambia. So as far as these people, they are not following that way, I don't think there's something wrong that the government is doing for not granting them citizenship. What they can do right now is to educate them on ways of which they can attain citizenship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbo, for those wonderful contributions as well. Mr. Modu Luis, you can come in, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Batafa. Assalamu alaikum to everyone that is present here. His Excellency Ibrahim Mbo, thank you very much for that contribution. Yeah, I guess Mbo spoke most of everything I wanted to say. But I want to go back from the beginning. When we say, okay, long-term permanent status, long-term citizenship, so that they will be legal in the country and all of that sort. One, why I want to ask for this motion, we all know is a policy motion, meaning the government want to bring this policy, add it to our constitution. That is what they want, in one way or the other. What I don't agree with, the motion, totally 100%, I don't agree with it. If at all, the motion said that, okay, to all, permanent, to all citizens from other countries, that one, like from a foreign country, you want a permanent, like, status. If you are there for a long time, fine, I agree. But specifically saying one country, Ghana, that is what I don't agree with. That is one. Secondly, one of the debaters mentioned it too. Before you can have a citizenship for a certain country, there should be rules and regulations that you should go by. You should go by the country's rule and regulation, meaning you should be crime-free and all of those sorts. And you should be paying your immigration taxes and all of those sorts. People can take example from India here. Even one day, if your RP expire for one day in India, you cannot go out of the country because those are their rules. But if you have a correct residential permit, you can go anywhere you want and nobody will disturb you. Thirdly, if we say, okay, if this permanent status is given to them, does that mean that, okay, they will be, like the citizens of the Gambia, they can have right to public office, they can have the right to vote and all of this stuff. The motion, I think the government should tell us more about this. Okay, before we vote for this motion, what are the rules and regulations? Will they have right for permanent office? Will they be able to vote and all of those stuff? Because I remember the people who attended Gambia Methodist Academy, they don't know about Mr. Kawa. We have one, I think, if I'm right, he's from Sierra Mr. Kawa. So we used to disturb each other a lot. So one time he was disturbing me, I was like, if you don't stop disturbing me, I'll call immigration for you. He was like, you're gonna do that because for the past 10 years I've been here. He removed his card for me. He said, you see, I have residential permit. Every year I pay for it. Meaning, immigration will not be chasing after him in the street or all of that sort. So meaning, the thing is, if you are in a foreign land, you don't want to be chased by immigration or certain stuff, go and pay dues that will make you legal in that country for short term. And if you want to be a long term, like Mr. Mbo said, you can go and apply for other means to be a citizen. Naturalization is there and all of that sort. But saying, okay, just because, okay, the Ghanaian brother or the Ghanaian sister has been here for, let's say, 20 years, you should be given citizenship like that straight. No. There are rules and regulations I think our government should follow before giving any citizenship to any person from a foreign land. Because that is what Gambians are going through in other countries too. They have to go by the rules and the regulations of those countries. Do you think that someone mentioned, I think that was Jeremiah. Jeremiah, do you think that those people who have like citizenship in Italy right now, do you think that those people, they cause crime and yet still they give them those citizenship? They don't do that. It's because they follow the rules and regulations. They came, applied for the citizenship, they were applying for residential permit, you know. But if you are in a country 5 years, you don't pay residential permit, you don't pay anything. You just go and apply for citizenship. Obviously, they don't give it. So I guess, you know, if they want those same things, our constitution is our constitution. Our constitution is what make the Gambia what the Gambia is right now. So you know we cannot just go aside and do anything we want without following the rules and regulations. Yeah, Batafa, thank you very much. I guess I will stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luis, as well. So the floor is still open for contributions on the table motion. So apart from the debaters, whoever has anything to add, you can just raise your hand and we are going to let you in. Thank you very much. Mr. Bao. Asiatu, so you can come in, please.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, and let me say good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, very good. So when it comes to this motion, actually, I think the problem is not about the constitution, but based on experience, how this constitution is being implemented. I personally have tried supporting many Guineans parents whom I know who've been in the Gambia for 40 years plus. Despite meeting all requirements, paying all what they're supposed to pay, sometimes when you go to the immigration, the moment you mention your original nationality, internally they deny you. They keep asking for documents that are unnecessary. Provide this, provide this. Sometimes you spend more than 2-3 months. They will give you long appointments. Bring this, you bring it. And then you keep bringing to the extent that you yourself, who is applying, you end up giving up. So this is where the main problem is. Many people, I'm sure, even Ghanaians, the moment you go and say you are from Ghana town, there are certain immigration officers that you find there, immediately they just feel like, okay, I'm not giving it to you. So they keep telling you, you don't have this document, you don't have this, provide this. They keep you going and coming to the extent that you yourself, you understand that I feel they don't want to give it to me. So you back down. I know many Gambians, let's say, because I'm experienced with the inside, many Guineans who have several times applied for naturalization, and they keep prolonging the process to the extent that those people feel like, okay, I think no need to be waiting time. Sometimes this pushes people to do the first sky. You pay huge amount of money behind the doors, and then they grant it to you. If you are somebody who is not capable of doing that job, like driving it huge amounts of money, you end up giving up. And then trying. Sometimes you're lucky to have it if you have someone who goes rules, but sometimes they just let you be there. Okay, you're how many years? Let me see. Can I see your documents? When did you leave the Gambia? Even if you leave the Gambia for 2 things and come back, I know you are legal. You need to wait until you're here for 7 years without going out of the country. So many things that when you go back to the constitution, you won't find it there. So I think we also need to bring awareness or proper implementation at the immigration side. Because many Ghanaians have complained being denied of their passports after applying. They have their birth certificate, everything showing are born in Gambia, they have been here, but still denied. So what's the reason behind that? I think what I wanted to comment.
Thank you very much, Asiatu, so for those wonderful remarks. I think for me, I would side with what Mr. Mbo actually mentioned. What we are seeing here, they are all true. But I think like the issue at hand is that people actually don't know like the requirements that are actually needed for them to actually be a citizen of a country. Because looking at India here, I think like the sensitization they actually did is perfect. Coming to India, you actually know one thing. Your first 14 days, the first thing you have to do is apply for your FRRO. So I think the Gambia should also start actually doing something similar to that as well. Let's sensitize people. Let them know like these actually the thing you have to follow for you to be actually eligible to actually be called a Gambian or be given a Gambian status. Because like it doesn't matter to me if you stay there 10, 15 or 30 years. If you don't follow the protocol, no matter how long you stay there, yet still you are not qualified for it. You need to follow the such protocols that are actually being placed. You need to know that these are actually the things that I actually need to follow. Like follow them, then from there you apply. Then if you see through that I'm following everything that is I'm following the book and yet still they are denying me, now come out. People are actually going to defend you. But if you ignorance, like if I don't know, will never save you there. So Mr. Mbu, what you actually said, I'm also saying with that. Let them do sensitization. Let us actually know that these are actually the things that you need to follow. These are the protocols you need to follow to actually meet the specific requirements to actually like obtain a government citizenship. So thank you very much. Mr. Modu Luis, you can come in here.
Yeah, Bantava, thank you very much. I will just start from where you just concluded. Yeah, sensitization is very important, but one thing you have to remember, I'm pretty sure I will not give my 100% that okay, that is true, but I'm pretty sure that if you come into the Gambia through the airport, if you reach immigration as someone from a foreign land, they will tell you, okay, you should do this and this and this. You know, maybe there are certain forms you should fill, but you have to understand that some of these people that come to the Gambia, either they come through the border of Senegal or Gajar Farafenya or Gajar Kunegadal and enter the Gambia. So it's very difficult for those people to know what is really going on. That is one. And secondly, just what Asiata said. To be honest, this thing, I don't want to make it sound funny because it's not funny, but ask our brothers and sisters who are in these foreign countries, like let's say Germany or who are in America. The moment they put in their citizenship, you will see they will call back their family members. Dugal na suma kayiti de ñaanal leen ma. After that, only prayers. Because most of them, they will put their papers, for months, they will not hear from the immigration sir. Because they know that, okay, it's not an easy process. After even providing all the documents, they will still get you. And it's not like, okay, provide our documents here. They are going to give me citizenship straight. They used to call back home, start leen ñaani de, dugal naa suma kayiti, ñaanal leen ma am ko. Some people still they have those legal documents and everything, but yet still they will not give them immigration. They will not give them citizenship. So how is Gambia different? Is it that okay, Gambia is a small country, is a developing country from Africa, so we cannot have that. Why is that so? Should it be like that? If we have that mentality as okay, that we are Africans, we are already backward. So there are rules and regulations where we should not follow. And when are we going to develop? When are we going to reach to the place where we have to reach? One thing we have to prioritize first is to follow rules and regulation. That is one. Because even I'm pretty sure, trust me, I can 100% say this that those Ghanaians that are in the Gambia, if at all they were in America, they will have followed the correct protocols to stay there. They will have followed the correct protocol. They will pay their dues, they will pay their taxes all well. But just because you are in a country, let's say, okay, you are in a country, small country in Gambia, I don't care, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't work like that. If you want to say, okay, I'm a conscious person, I'm a respectful person, I'm a respectful citizen. Each and every country you should go to, you should give them the same respect. Because at the end of the day, all those countries will carry their flags up high. So it shouldn't matter, okay, okay, this is the country I'm going to do this. I'm not doing it for a certain country, or that is the country I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it for a country in Africa. Yeah, Batava, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mod Luis. And going through the comment section, someone actually mentioned, are you sure they didn't follow the protocol? I think like you actually missed the point that people are giving here. All that has been said here, like they're not actually saying those that cannot and doesn't actually meet the requirements to be given the government citizenship. What we are saying, like people need to be sensitized. In India here, if you come here, you actually know what to do. Even those are the immigrations at the airport, they don't actually need to tell you anything. But you actually know the moment I go to India, what should I do? Like the first 14 days, I need to apply for my FRRO. If I go to any resident, they need to give me my C form, my S form, and everything, the rent agreement and everything. That is actually what you need to follow. So the sensitization in India here is perfect. Same thing for USA, same thing for Canada, same for every country. But now, can we even ask ourselves, we the governments here, how many of us know like what are the requirements for someone like coming outside the government to applying for a government citizenship? What are the actual procedures that they need to follow? Like most of us, we don't actually know it. So I think that's why we are actually saying we need to sensitize the general population, let people know these are actually the things that needed to be followed before someone can be granted a government citizenship. So I think that's basically everything that people are actually mentioning here. So Sadio AK Judge, you can come in please. Maybe after Sadio you can join there. So Mr. Sadio AK Judge, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Education Minister. May I confirm my ability?
Sure, yeah.
Where I am a little bit noisy. Am I audible?
Yes, you're able. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you very much. I think as far as this motion is concerned, which has to do with, let's say, granting permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaian descent residents in the Gambia to resolve the current citizenship crisis, is actually a timely motion, as most of us have highlighted here. So at some point when I had Bajere speaking, by the way, thank you very much for joining us from Italy. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, you come to realize that it waters down to the saying in Mandinka that, okay, the Gambia is a nearby nation, or we would say it's more about, in Wolof, what we would say, "Kumabu ande, akumabu amunde." So when it comes to the issue of citizenship, time and again, we've seen circumstances wherein, okay, you would have this particular individual that perhaps would know somebody that works in the immigration or something of that sort, and the person will be granted citizenship. But then, in the contrary, if you're somebody that perhaps wouldn't know anyone that works at the immigration or something of that sort, it becomes quite challenging. Not necessarily in the immigration, but someone working in the immigration of a high authority. So at the end of the day, like that becomes quite challenging for those people to have it. So for the motion, just as I think the speakers mentioned, it's a policy motion. And I believe it has to do with more or less the policing framework and what was to do as far as the legal residence issue is concerned. But again, I believe when it comes to, let's say, saying, okay, long-term Ghanaian descent residents, something of a sort, I believe it's quite subjective, or it could be interpreted in any ways. One could say long term might be 10 years, long term might be 40 years, or something of that sort. But again, I think on one of the press conferences that I've listened to, I had one of the Ghanaians that was speaking, and the lady said she was, I don't know, 40 or 50 years, I cannot remember the age. And he said, according to her, she was born in the Gambia and something of that sort. Though I wouldn't know the legal statuses of the Gambia because I'm not a legal luminary or anywhere from a legal background. I'm not attached to that. But then they will tell you when it comes to citizenship, a constitution that comes after your birth in one way or the other, you belong to the country. Because the constitution starts from the day that it's protected. So all those that are born before that are in one way or the other Gambians. I stand to be corrected in this as I mentioned because I'm not from a legal background. But then I do hear people say some of these things time and again. And again, when it comes to the Gambia citizenship status, let's say after the constitution, I believe in this case we will be referring to the 1997 constitution. In that specific one, I wouldn't know the section, but many would tell you that, okay, for one to be granted citizenship, or let's say citizenship by birth, one of your parents ought to be Gambians. Let's say it's either your mom or your dad, that would have to be a Gambian for you to be granted a Gambian citizenship. So I believe when it comes to that aspect, a lot of things need to be looked into, not just, okay, this particular guy lived in the Gambia for quite a long period of time or something of the sort. Because at the end of the day, these residents that were born, raised and economically active in the Gambia, they contribute to the national development, like through labor, through taxation, through education. I had Jerry saying that, okay, one of the guys that had 90s, I think somewhere in 2017, from Gambia, I was actually a Gambian Ghanaian, something like that. So essentially, for those kind of people, you ought to give them the opportunity and things like this because in one way or the other, if they should go outside of the Gambia and happen to have the citizenship of other countries, it might be something else. So I believe we ought to consider that. Because time and again, we would see these Europeans, Americans, even our Guinea, they made, we do hear of the British saying that they wanted to naturalize half or half of half of that British, but then he would renounce it or something like that of that sort. For those kind of people, those are part of the things that I believe these people should be granted citizenship. And in the long run, they're going to have to have social integration in one way. And again, it's going to and rather than leaving them being legally vulnerable due to historical gaps of, like in nationality laws. On the hindsight, also, I believe when it comes to the side of the opposition, Mr. Mustafa, when debaters are given platform, it's always very hard for us to summarize. So, okay, so when it comes to the side of the opposition, I believe, when we talk about the humanitarian impulse being quite understandable and things like that, I believe granting, let's say, permanent legal status based on dissent at some point will reach a certain precedent that retains citizenship integrity and blurs the distinction between residency and, of course, nationality. Because in as much as we want to have, or we want to integrate a lot of people in our society that are Gambians, I believe we also need to look at a lot of factors. Let's say, like the citizenship crisis should be resolved through comprehensive legal reform and bilateral agreements, countries of origin, not just any ad hoc regularization that may incentivize, future irregular settlement. So I believe when it comes to this aspect, one thing that we ought to understand as a nation is that we need to make a balance between the two. Okay, we're gonna grant them citizenship, but there should be laws that would govern them. And I believe that is the whole contention here. So I believe in the long run, like the state must prioritize institutional clarity and equal application of the law over emotionally driven solutions that will create long-term governance challenging. And I would conclude with what I started with, which is the Gambia to some extent is a nearby nation, or I would say Kumbabu Amde, Akumabu Amande. We're all from there and we know what exists in that country. Thank you very much. Back to you, the moderator.
Thank you very much, Sadio Ekejadi, for those wonderful insights as well. Madam Maimuna Sane, your hand was up. If you are, you can come in, please. Maimun.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon once again. What this one was talking about, Mustafa, thank you very much for bringing those things into consideration. Sensitization, you understand? Because as Gambians ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, when did people apply for birth certificates? People always advise even a birth certificate when they need something, just like driving license, and how do you call it? When they are about to travel, that's the time people apply for birth certificate. Talk lots of ID card. When you want ID card, you wait until the time somebody want to send you money. So I think the most important thing is heart sensitization. For instance, when you come to India, all of you people were sensitized when you come, because you find people there who will tell you that hey, you have to apply FRR before, how to call it, 14 days. Likewise, Italy here, when I came here, they told me that you have to apply permito before 8 days. And I have known that thing. So the same thing, but those people coming there before independent, can you imagine, before independent, they were there. Who will give them how to call it, that sensitization? And still now, there is no much of sensitization. I think those people are marginalized. For me, that's what I'm taking it, because other Ghanaians, how to call it, 3 towns, the teachers, they have been educated. But when you look at most of the Ghanaians there before, they were not at school. It's just now that their children are going to school. Most of them are in the, how to call it, on the beach. You understand? Fishing there. So I think Mustafa, thank you very much. That's why they said what? But what you bring here is very important. Sensitization. Even our own nationals, we have to sensitize them. Because when you come to India, the same thing. Everything is the same thing. You understand? People have to sensitize you, tell you that this is what you have to do, that blah, blah, blah. You have to go and look for this paper, come and build this paper, drink this paper. Because before they give you India, you cannot compare India and other countries with Gambia. Because Gambia, when you come, is there any rent agreement in the Gambia before? I don't know now whether there is rent agreement, but before there is no rent agreement. You just go to a compound. I can take example by myself. When I came to India, for us, they said we are not going to live in the hostel. But what we have done, I went with Baksama. The time they told me that, okay, the house is available. For me, I was telling Baks that, Uncle, he told me, no, wait. The man told me exactly, wait. You need to pay around 57,000 rupees. I was like, hey, that's the money I bring. I cannot pay all those amount of money. So you see, by then I don't know anything. I thought that it's the same thing, the same situation in Gambia. So the most important thing here is to sensitize those people. Don't chase them. They are not criminals. You go to their house. What Mary was saying is so painful. If that person is speaking, the way he is speaking, you cannot tell that this person is not from Gambia, it's not from Congo. You understand? He can speak Mandinka far better than me. So those kind of things, you have to sensitize them. Even our Gambians, as I said, when do we find birth certificate? Most of you are in the hospital. When do people find birth certificate? When they need it. They don't even find about it. So that's the thing. Sensitization is the most important thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the platform again. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maimuna Jere Sedisane. But what you actually said here, like, is very, very true. It's very, very true. Like, people only go in for certain documents when they feel like they need it. Then, and even this rent agreement you are talking about, like, one of the things is, like, even if your landlord even has to send you out of a cover, they need to give you a month notice. But people are not even sensitive about that. They will just come with Fintina Korakon, or you just back and just give like that. So I think like sensitization is the key thing here, because like all these countries we are using as reference, like the time you went to Italy, the same thing, 8 days, India here 14 days. These sensitization were there, and they are actually being strict with it. So I think like that is where the thing needs to start. Since people need to be sensitive, let them actually know like this is the law of the land. If you want to live here, these are actually the things that you need to follow. If you are not comfortable with it, please, please, please just stay where you are, because you cannot just come like and be doing anything you want. So, like with reference to the Ghanaian, we are not actually saying that is what they are doing. So this is actually what we think regarding their issue. So that's why we are giving this contribution. So let no one take it any differently. Mr. Ibrahim Ambo, you can come in, please.
Yeah, thank you so very much. And apologies, for coming back again. Well, you just touched a point, more especially that rent agreement you talk about was I'm one of those that has experience, in this rent issue. Yeah, sometimes Cham will be like, "Bo, you always say this." Oh, yes, because I'm proud of what happened was you know, like I had issue with my landlord. What I did, I don't even exchange some words with him through. Or what I did, I just took him to the police station because I know my rights. I know that I was following what is expected of me. I paid him, and even paid him in advance. So what happened was the rent agreement got expired, and I was negotiating with him. He turned up, difficult, thinking that we cannot have another house. What we did was we just go get another house and tell him not to return us our money because we paid him in advance. He was like, "No, you cannot leave. Wait until after then so that you already pay me." We told him, "No, we are going." He was like, "He's not going to give us our money." What we did was we just gather all documents, rent agreement, everything, and just go to the police station and tell them we need our money. The police station called him and he ended up giving us our money. So that's how countries operate. Like when you are in a country, you have to follow the laws of the country. Like others might be going, back way or illegal way of getting documents. But you, if you want documents, you know that like you're gonna get it through the back way, go through the right way. Make sure you know what your rights are and how you can get it through the right way and go through that channel. If you cannot get it, take them to court, take them to a place that that like your rights will be like you'll be given, or like where rulings can be in your favor, or how to put it. Yeah, come means are many. So do not kind of come guy joxuñ la opportunity. Well, like since like like you want to go to the bar, it's not available, then you relax. No, make sure you meet the criteria. If you meet the criteria now, if they deny you, know that they are denying your right, then you go through the right channels to get your rights. Yeah, man, loolu laa gëm de jërëjëf.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bo. Thank you very much for that one as well. Yeah. So, Usman Kor, Maimuna Sane. So, whoever has anything to add, like the floor is still open because we are still waiting for Mr. Basil to actually declare as to which association is going to make it to the final. So, the floor is still open for contribution. And Mr. Mbo, yeah, you can take as much time as you want. That's not a big deal.
Mr. Usman have to speak again there because he did a research in this. So I was like, so sad. I don't know whether he's sad because I went to bed, so I was absent.
Okay, you can come and you can go ahead. You can go ahead. The floor is
No,
you can go
Usman,
ahead.
I said, Usman, he said he did a research on this topic. So maybe that
Usman
might
Kor.
help. Like, he can go deep into it. Yeah.
Yeah, Usman Kor, the floor is still open. You can go ahead while we wait for the adjudicators to come in, please. Mr. Usman Kor. Mr. Kor, if you are with us, like you can come in, please. Oh, okay. Mr. Siakanjai, you can come in.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable. All right, greetings everyone. First, I want to confirm if I'm audible.
Sure, you're audible. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Greetings, everyone. It is a pleasure to have you all here once again. Actually, I go by the name Siakanjai, one of the adjudicators of today's encounter between Malaysia and Turkey. So I would like to give some feedbacks and also give some recommendations and observations. So Mr. Basiru, as the chief judge, would come later to give his final feedbacks and, of course, give us the and announce the results. So first, what I would like to do is just to the overall view of the debate or the overall feedback. I think the debate is a very, very wonderful one. Both teams did well, both debaters from Malaysia to Turkey, from the prime minister down to the opposition, deputy opposition leader. They all did well, and of course, they all did justice to the motion. But in debate there is always buts and there is always however. So I will start with the prime minister. The prime minister, I think when he came in, he did a very wonderful job by giving us the clear structure and which he followed. And then again, he defined the key terms of the motion. After defining the key terms of the motion, clearly, and he was very audible. And again, what he did was some of the things that I believe he should have done, which he did not, was to give us the perimeter of the debate. I don't know if it was only me, but I was not aware of any perimeter of the debate. And I believe even though this is an opinion motion, I believe, but it is expected. No, of course, this is a policy motion. So it is not an opinion, it's a policy motion. So as policy motion, Prime Minister, you bring the motion to the House. You introduce the motion to the House. So what you have to do is tell us how, or tell us where you bring the motion to the House and give us how are you going to do it. But then again, it is what it is. I believe that and of course it was not raised by one of the opposition leaders or by one of the oppositions, neither the opposition leader and nor the deputy opposition leader. I believe these are some of the things. As judges, we assume that we know nothing. So what we expect from the opponents is that you look into the weak points of your opponents, and of course you can attack them from there. But then what happens here is the prime minister failed to give us a perimeter. But then again, the opposing side did not also debut that. They did not rebut it. So I believe the point will stand. It was not. It will not it will not make sense. So another thing is the prime minister did not give any contributors because when you are allocating marks, even though no one speaks before you, so you are not there to rebut anyone. But again, you are expected to give contributors, and giving contributors, you just presume. You assume that your opponent would say this, and then you rebut that point. So luckily, if your opponents came and they said the same thing, then you are at advantage. But even if they don't mention that, at least you will have mark for rebuttals. But if you fail to give any rebuttals, meaning if the judges are not lenient with you, they will not give you any mark for rebuttals. So I think that's a one thing that you should work on. And then again, this long term in the motion, I believe to me it was not well explained. All right, as the prime minister, you are the one who introduced the motion to the House. You should tell us what the I don't know the exact years that you mean by these long-term Ghanaians that are in the Gambia. All right. So I believe that was not well explained. And when the deputy opposition leader was giving his deliberations, she even elaborated on that. And I believe, yeah, it was a good one. So all in all, it was a very good debate from the prime minister. It was a wonderful debate. So keep it up. So now to the opposition leader. The opposition leader, one thing I believe is, even if you are to, of course, she came in, she gave her structure, of course, which she followed, I believe. And of course, what she was doing is just, she was trying to redefine the motion. As the opposition leader, if you came in and the prime minister has already defined the key terms of the motion, you should not bother yourself. Meaning, you should not even waste your time to defend those key terms against. What you have to do is just to commend the prime minister for doing that wonderful job by defining all the key terms of the motion, and then you move on to rebut, give your points, and move on. But then again, what she was doing is just to redefine the motion, which of course is important. But then again, to me, it was just a waste of time. Um, considering that the Prime Minister has already defined the key terms of the motion. And she said that issuing legal status to Ghanaians will privilege a few. But I believe this point was not well explained. Yeah, it was a very good point, but then again was not explained. At some point, she was trying to compare Ghanaians and all nationality and other nationalities. But if you look at the motion, when she was given when she was talking about that, I was saying maybe she did not understand the motion. The motion says this permanent legal status to long-term Ghanaians descends resident in the Gambia, residents in the Gambia, resolve the current citizenship crisis. But when you look at the current citizenship crisis, mainly it is for the Ghanaians, specifically those that are in Ghana town. All right. So I think the motion is specifically talking about. That's what I was saying. The Prime Minister fails to set the perimeter of the debate. If the perimeter of the debate was set, he set the scope of the debate, and of course, every debater that will come after him have to follow that debate. But then again, I think it was an oversight from the Prime Minister. So the opposition leader was not also um, putting that under consideration. So Deputy Prime Minister, he came in and gave a structure. But at some point, he was somehow fluctuating. I don't know if he was strengthening the point of the Prime Minister or he was giving his own point. So I think the structure will follow. And again, one of the points he gave was economic and human capital potential, which is a very wonderful point. And of course, he acted with some statistics which I love. And again, he made mention of Gambians are often granted citizenship in other countries, and this is important. But then again, the deputy opposition leader is contributing this point, and I really appreciate it because you cannot compare Gambia to other countries that are already developed. And the deputy opposition leader said, she said Gambia is an underdeveloped country, or we can say it's a developing country. So some of these countries that the examples he took was America, Europe, so and of course especially England, UK. So I think these are some of the countries that are already developed. So you cannot compare their economic state to the Gambia. So those people maybe they can easily give us citizenships and it will not affect them. But for Gambians, it might one way or the other affect them. If your opponents are able to rebut this properly, I think they will trash your point. But then again, it was a very good point to me. If you are able to at least explain it in some other way, which will benefit the will give benefit of the doubt. So that was a very good debate. One thing I love about it is the statistics that you were given. Now to the deputy opposition leader, she came in, gave a structure which she followed, and of course she gives some very good rebuttals. And one of them was the economic status of the Gambia, which was the point of the deputy prime minister. All right? And when he was saying some Gambians are being issued citizenship status in other countries across the world. So I think that was a very good rebuttal. That was a very good rebuttal. That's why I was saying their economic state you cannot compare to the country, to the Gambia. Yeah, that was the basis of our rebuttal. So yeah, the problem the deputy opposition leader has, I think, was he was not giving much statistics in debate. I think it's really important whenever you are debating, you should put this at the back of your mind. If you give a point, even if you cannot give a statistic, please give us a reference. Bring something that is relatable to that particular point, and of course, it is relatable to the motion that can at least give more weight to the point. So, but if you give a point, you just explain it like that, even though your explanation is clear, but you do not back it with any proof, with any reference, with any statistics, all right, with any data. So it becomes very easy for your opponents to review that point because now there is no proof that the point is true. Like I said earlier, we judges, we assume that we know nothing. So you come in to educate, to educate us. You come in to convince us. So if you are convincing us, you must convince us with fact, not just mere opinions. So facts are always backed by proofs. So if you fail to give any proof, then your point does not hold much water, and then it will be easy for your opponents to come in and review it the way they feel like. So that's all I have. All in all, I think it's a very wonderful debate, because if you look at the motion, it's a very critical motion, and of course it is a very important one, considering the state of the Gambia in relation to this citizenship crisis, specifically for Ghanaians. Because why specifically for Ghanaians? This is the trend that is going on right now in this country. It is not between Gambia and Senegal citizens. It is not between Gambia and Guinea-Conakry or Guinea-Bissau citizens. It is more of Gambia. It is more of Ghanaians that are here, but they are not only here for some years. They've been here. Maybe some of them were born in this country. Some of them were born in this country. Maybe their fathers or grandfathers was here since who knows. So I think that's the crisis we are having currently. That's the only citizenship crisis we are having. So the motion is trying to address that. So that's why when the oppositions were trying to compare those citizens, Ghanaian citizens, to other citizens that are currently in the Gambia, which, like Senegalese and the Guineans. So I think they did not understand the motion, to me. All right. So if they really understand the motion, they would not compare them, because the motion is very specific. The motion is very specific. The motion says Ghanaians. All right, Ghanaians descent. So you give the legal status. And one thing I love about the Prime Minister is the way, I don't know if he's a law student or what, but the way he plays with the Constitution, with the sections of the Constitution, I really love that. So I think that was a very good, wonderful debate. So all in all, overall, it's a very good debate, and of course, I will promise you it's a tight one. So it gives a tough time to the judges to at least come up with with the results. So thank you so much. Thank you all to the debaters for coming up and debating this critical motion. Of course, one of the most important motions in this championship. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Siaka. I will not repeat, of course, what he has said, at least to avoid spending here a long time. Okay, I will just go straight to clarify the context of the motion. I think it was the battleground to some extent. Yeah. Now, when you talk about who are Ghanaian descendants or residents here, we have people of Ghanaian origin example could have been clarified for sure. Often we look at what we call either the second or third generation Ghanaians. Do you understand? Long-time residents in the Gambia would have been specified for sure. I think Asiaka has touched that aspect. I would not like to go in for it. Okay, now often we talk about the Ghanaians, what they call residents, socially integrated but legally insecure. Maybe it would have been a balance of the motion and an angle of debate. You understand? We talk about the documentation problem, residency, sometimes work rights. I think would have opened also another angle of debate. And the current crisis has been mentioned by Siaka, at least would have been used as a gateway to open up for sure legal insecurity, perhaps a risk of statelessness. And it was mentioned by the Prime Minister. But of course, I identify what you call an error in reasoning in the argument, which I will talk about later. Employment and residency restriction would have also constituted what we call the crisis that you have referred to in the debate, social tension coming from the opposing side, also an uncertainty, administrative gaps. This is the context of the motion. Now let's go back to the debate and look at what each and every one of the debaters has came here with their wallets of debate for sure. Now I will not go back to what Siaga has just mentioned. I just want to continue from where he stopped. Now let's look at the evaluation criteria. We look at the assess basically and the content of the debate, or the criteria what we mentioned in the first place when we started the debate would be the content of the of your debate. That's the baseline. We have 40 marks for that. It's very important we look at the evaluation based on that, analysis based on that, and the rest, I think, we have just a bit problem with what we call the way the time was managed by each and every debater. I would like to tell you this: you can debate 6 minutes, it's fine. You can debate 7 minutes, and the quality of the time, you understand, is measured by the efficiency you employ in order to deliver your argument. You can spend 7 minutes, you still have what we call maybe 1/10 when it comes to time management. It is not how long you debate it, but the efficiency of your debate. Okay, you are given 5 minutes, you are able to use the 5 minutes, you understand, efficiently to deliver your argument. That's why you have some variations. Some people debate 6 minutes, debated 6 minutes, till now they perform better than those who, in fact, debated 7 minutes. So that's the evaluation for the time management. Now let's look at the Prime Minister. Okay, the Prime Minister's arguments were highly relevant to the motion and directly address why legal, what do you call, why permanent legal status should be granted to long-term Ghanaian residents. I'm sorry if I restate your wordings or something like that. I just want to paraphrase, but recording was something that was very, very difficult. Okay, the parameter of the debate. Of course, Siaka has mentioned that it was not mentioned. It was just an implicit. Yeah, it was mentioned by looking at indirectly at some point. That's the issue we have. I think that was before he before he set the debate. At some point, the Prime Minister, the parameter was at least implied, but now would have been explicitly stated, at least for the judges to comprehend the gap, because the technique that the Prime Minister used was so much advanced at some point that he was like, okay, if I would mention this, definitely I'm going to defy the constitutional order of citizenship and the likes. So he needed to come up with an implicit at some point parameter to argue under Section 12 of the Constitution, and there are some issues that were at least so much important, but would have been better if at all it was clearly stated, so that each and every one of us would understand exactly the parameter of the debate. So, all right, so it's okay, not bad, but yeah, that's it. Now let's look at Section 12 of the Constitution. Section 12 of the Constitution, please do not get me wrong. If I miss certain things, please, I'm liable for that, and I'm sorry for any other thing. Just a quick recap. Section 12 mentioned that people who have been residing in the Gambia for nothing less than 15 years can apply for citizenship by naturalization or something like that. But there are conditions. Okay, the conditions are, number one, you have to be paying tax or something like that for the period of residence. The tax was your tax must have been intact or something like that. You do not have any criminal record. You don't have what we call, you must be accepted by the people you're residing with, and you should be of full age and capacity, something like that. I don't remember every jumbo inside. However, these are important elements. So I was expecting the opposition to come and tell us, all right, this citizenship crisis in the Gambia is not about naturalization. In fact, even if it has to be naturalization, how about the kids who are not of full age and capacity? Because if you look at full age and capacity, according to the Gambian Citizenship Act, you understand, is somebody who must have 21 years and is a responsible person, maybe a family member or something like that. Please, I stand to be corrected. Something like that. Then how about the kids? How about the kids? Those who don't even have 18 years, where do they belong to? And Section 8 or 9, I'm sorry if Section 8, I think, or 9, about citizenship by birth, either parents should be, one of the parents should be like a Gambian, you understand, in order for someone to be considered as a Gambian citizen. If you were born in the Gambia before the coming of our current constitution or something like that. These are the things that I believe were the substance of the debate when it comes to the parameter that was implicitly mentioned. If at all it was clearly at some point spelled out, maybe the prime minister felt that, okay, if he had to come up with all those sort of things of clarification, he wouldn't have had what we call a strong argument, or would have left the debate open, and in order to protect himself at some point from the opposition, he has to come up with certain things. I assume that would have been the reason why he just browsed it. Okay, I'm not going back to all the. Okay, now the economic contribution argument, small businesses of 150 run by Gambians was clearly tied to the impact of the legal implication or status or access to banking and formal economic participation. Now, the statelessness argument was directly linked to both national and international legal responsibilities, citing a lot of acts. And honestly, this point was so much relevant of statelessness. Gambia having we don't only sign the agreements or something like that. These are domesticated laws. These are things that have been ratified. These documents are signed and ratified. Therefore, we have them in our constitution. So going in any regard against these doctrines or these principles we have in our constitution, I think would have been blatant violation, not only national laws, but international convention agreements and the likes. However, the argument lacks some logical closure to some extent. The prime minister constituted what we call or talk about constitutional protection, but did not fully explain how Section 12 applies specifically to non-citizens or descendants, which weaken legal precision at some point. The economic argument could have been stronger if it shows what we call how granting status directly solve the banking and investment barriers. I think in my write-up, I was saying, okay, so where the Ghanaians they fail to secure this, and where the economic spectrum impact their daily lives. So that was, I think, an oversight. It was not directly pointed towards the arguments to show the relevant point that we are supposed to be considered if you want to advance anything of this nature. But it was just like an assumption at some point. I'm sorry to use that. It was an assumption, I think, made. However, the arguments were strong and motion focused. Just that they lack what they call links, at least to the asserted claim, rather than demonstrating at some point the link between the two. Now we look at when I'm writing, I believe that, okay, when I get back, I would understand my handwriting, but immediately I turn back to my handwriting. Honestly, I find it very difficult to understand exactly what I have written so far. But I'm sorry for any if I skip anything or mispronounce or misspell or misstate anything, please. I'm sorry. And the sources, please. You quickly mentioned the sources. At some point, I was not able to record the sources, at least to look at the credibility of the arguments. And this was something that I felt that, okay, you were moving fast when you are looking at these sources. Okay, the contribution, social cohesion, national identity was just some important issues mentioned, and they were relevant. Motion focus, do you understand, well aligned with the motion framing legal recognition as a tool to reduce marginalization and social tension, for sure. Now, the argument on unlocking human potential logically followed rather, showing that how legal insecurity suppresses productivity, education, and social participation. Now, the comparative argument. The Gambians abroad benefit from citizenship regimes, while Ghanaian residents face exclusion, was morally compelling and relevant. But I believe that it was like there was an error in your reasoning at some point, like error in fallacy in general. Yeah, maybe the laws differ. Flexibility of applications also differ, and to some extent. I think it was relevant expecting a POI from the opposition, at least to come up with something that can at least flag your argument. Now we look at the deputy opposition leader, sorry, opposition leader rather. Opposition leader, I think, yeah. The opposition leader, look at the arguments we have mentioned about the discriminatory practices and arbitrariness was a central and well-framed argument. I supported the claim at some point to see how best it was to be backed by what you call a very concise legal document or something like that, or a case law or something of this nature, at least to attach some credibility to the point. But I feel I did not hear it from the opposing side. The problem, the population statistic, approximately 1,500 Ghanaians. I think there was no statistic, sorry, there was no source to back this claim, and which constituted what we call 0.05 of the population was used efficiently to some extent, but lack of sources, I think, constitute a greater part of deficiency being identified from your argument. Now, the argument that granting status to one group risking exclusion, similarly situated national, especially Senegalese and the like. So the burden of, sorry, let me just use what you call a different term. Maybe I would have approached it from another angle. Yeah, the Senegalese, I think, were excluded from the matter or something like that. But you had a very legit information to bring the issue at hand, because of there was what you call a fluidity of what you call when setting the parameter. At some point, somebody can just come and destroy a part of it. But of course, it was something that was supposed to be considered, especially the Senegalese residents and whatsoever. But it should have been in a context whereby you can give these people, okay, you have considered these people, why not these other people? Yeah, I think although the problem came from the government to some extent to clarify certain things, but it challenged their position to some extent, but I believe that it was insufficient to at least penetrate their argument. Okay, now the opposing side, coming from the deputy opposition leader, what we call deputy opposition leader. I'm sorry if I do not. Okay. I'm taking a lot of time. I'm sorry. We need to clarify this. It's very important to give evidence of who lose or somebody at some point who was able to convince the judges. The deputy opposition leader raised relevant and legitimate concerns, particularly on definitions, feasibility, and risk, which were appropriate for the opposing extension. And I was like, okay, you understood your role very well at the time of delivering your argument, and it was very central in the debate. The critique that the government failed to define what we call long-term residency was important and directly affected, in fact, the clarity and scope of the policy. For sure. Tell us how long. How about somebody who was just born in the Gambia for about 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, something like that? It was very strong, honestly. I love that point very well. The government about the argument about government's economic capacity, question whether the state can absorb additional administrative and social cost. It was a central argument that was at least compounded with a lot of economic basis that should have been considered. However, the issue of this without looking at the Gambian economy, whether they can afford it or not, or something like that, was something that was brought in to substantiate this point, or to see the economic burden of the country that we currently have that would not warrant us to bring certain cost in place. Would have been sufficient if those points were brought. Concern over ethnic tensions and possibilities of illegal acquisition status was also something very important, and it engaged with social stability and governance risks. I want to speak faster so we complete this. It's okay. It's very okay. That was it. Now, I want to mention one or two things before I announce the results. Before I announce the results, please give me some time. It's about the fallacies. I recorded somewhere else. Okay. Now, for the Deputy Prime Minister, so the Prime Minister, I'm sorry. You did your part very well by bringing evidence from the African Charter on Human Rights or something like UN, Kenya, sorry, UN, World Bank, statelessness, or something like that. Okay. Now, the opposing side, I want to emphasize a very strong case. Now, you could have used what they call Cote d'Ivoire citizenship crisis, at least to invalidate the arguments. You understand? Please try and attack each other. If you are there bringing all your arguments, someone also is coming to bring his own arguments. Sometimes we do not understand exactly where the class is at some point. But if you come and attack each other, I deny the fact that you mentioned this. You destroy it and you have a duty to repair. Bring issues, evidence, or legal case studies in order to invalidate the arguments. So that was the major problem I identified. It was like, okay, I am here, you sit down over there, I'll be here, we keep throwing each other stones or something like, come fight, let us see. That's it. You would have used that case, a Republican, or a Dominican Republic versus the Haitian, the Haitians rather, 2013 also would have been a strong case to invalidate their opposition. Sorry, the position rather. Nigeria's also system also was a very clear case that would have been used against all. I have synthesis of this, but I don't want to go over and over again while keeping the audience waiting. Okay, I will not deal with the flashes. I will skip the flashes now. Announce the results, please. Okay, here it goes. We have the government bench. They scored 65 points. 65 points. The opposing side, that is the Turkish side, it was a tight deliberation at some point. It was a tight argument. Therefore, we have a very limited margin, and they scored 56 points. That's the final results. I would have wanted to go over and over again to look at certain lapses to justify our scores, but I don't want to keep the audience long waiting for the results and the likes. Some are in the now I have the best speaker from the coming from the government bench, that is the Prime Minister. So congratulations for that wonderful job and good luck in your debating career. The Turkish side also, I encourage you. You have done well. I think this debate had made it possible for the government bench to win the debate. I think it was lack of clashes coming from the opposing side to cite very potential errors coming from the government. I think that what warranted warranted their victory. Yeah, please forget about the winning. Everything is intact. You have made your arguments. Honestly, everyone would have access to this, and they are going to watch what we have heard tonight. On that note, I thank you so much for believing in us and for giving us the opportunity to exercise at least our judicial oversight over the debate. Thank you so much. Mustafa, thank you. And the entire team coming from the Indian side. Thank you so much. And the audience, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basiru, for those remarks as well. So I would like to invite Mr. Muru Lewis to give the closing remark. Mr. Lewis, if you are here with us, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bartova. Thank you very much. I don't know if I can be visible right now. I'm inside Uber, so you see it's dark already. So I guess I can just speak like that. Yeah, I would say the debate was really a fantastic debate. To be honest, both teams did really, really, really well. We really enjoyed the debate. from the contributions, even the contributions, we are having some clashes up on there, meaning that, the topic was a very great topic. Yeah, I will not keep this long. I just want to say thank you very much to all the debaters and to all the audience who were here, watching this debate. It was really fantastic. And here to our partners, the YCDA, we cannot, end on we cannot, stop thanking you guys because it's a lot to adjudicate events, especially a debate where you have to use your correct logic to assess those things. Yeah, so that's all from my side tonight because as I already said, it's already late and I cannot take much time on inside Uber and I've reached my destination. But I guess you will forgive me today. Yeah, so thank you very much and have a good night. Yeah, thank you. By how much?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mod Louis. So thank you to all the attendees as well. See you hopefully soon for the second semi-final as well. And congratulations to both Malaysia and Turkey as well. Good night. Allah Barakah.